The 2025 Formula One season is already overflowing with drama, but today's news might be the most explosive yet. After another underwhelming campaign start, Ferrari are reportedly plotting a shock approach to poach Christian Horner from Red Bull Racing, a man who's become almost synonymous with Red Bull's dominance over the past 2 decades. If true, this could be the biggest team boss shakeup since Toto Wolff took over Mercedes. And the stakes couldn't be higher. With Lewis Hamilton only P6 in the championship and Charles Leclerc barely ahead, Ferrari are desperate enough, perhaps, to replace Fred Vasseur with Horner, a man who once stood at the heart of Hamilton's most bitter title defeat. Imagine that dynamic: Horner leading Hamilton, the man he once publicly criticised during the 2021 war with Mercedes. It's a pairing nobody expected, and everyone is now talking about. If you're fascinated by the politics, the mind games, and the high-stakes power moves of Formula One, subscribe now, because this story isn't just about Ferrari. It's about control, redemption, and the next era of the sport. To understand the weight of this rumour, we first have to grasp the status Christian Horner holds in Formula One. This isn't just a team boss Ferrari are eyeing, this is the team boss. Christian Horner has been the architect of Red Bull's incredible transformation from midfield outsiders to modern F1 juggernauts. Since taking over the team in 2005, he's led Red Bull to 6 Constructors' Championships and 8 Drivers' titles, 4 with Sebastian Vettel, 4 with Max Vstappen, and possibly more in the making. He's the longest-serving team principal in the paddock and a master of both performance management and political warfare within the sport. But now, Ferrari want him. That's not just bold, it's seismic. The reports, first broken by Bild, suggest that Ferrari has sounded out Horner, meaning this isn't a formal negotiation yet, but it's not a vague idea either. This is Ferrari testing the waters, and when Ferrari tests the waters, it's usually because the iceberg ahead is much larger than it looks. So why would Ferrari want to replace Fred Vasseur? Let's start with the 2025 context. Ferrari was supposed to enter this season with momentum. They had Charles Leclerc, their homegrown star, and the signing of Lewis Hamilton was meant to elevate them into true title contention. Instead, they've been outclassed. McLaren have leapfrogged both Ferrari and Mercedes in the pecking order, with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris consistently finishing ahead. Red Bull are still a force, even if not dominant, but Ferrari sit 4th in the constructors' standings and have already slipped 177 points behind McLaren. That kind of deficit is not just disappointing, it's embarrassing for a team with such pedigree, budget, and driver talent. Fred Vasseur was brought in after the Binotto era collapsed under the weight of unforced errors, strategy blunders, and political stagnation. But so far, Vasseur's Ferrari doesn't look dramatically different. The team is more stable, yes, but results haven't followed. And in F1, stability without results is simply another word for mediocrity. This is where Christian Horner comes in. Unlike Vasseur, Horner has consistently delivered. He doesn't just manage teams, he leads dynasties. Ferrari are no strangers to big moves when under pressure, and bringing in Horner would be one of the most aggressive moves in the modern hybrid era. It would also send a message to their rivals and to their drivers that Ferrari are serious about winning again. But would Horner even consider leaving Red Bull? That's the million-dollar question. On paper, he has no reason to. He's under contract until the end of 2026. He's been with the team for nearly 2 decades. He's one of the most powerful figures in the paddock. But beneath that success, all is not well. Behind the scenes, the relationship between Christian Horner and Helmut Marko has long been rumoured to be strained. Marko, Red Bull's motorsport advisor and an ally of the late Dietrich Mateschitz, has significant sway, particularly with Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, Horner has increasingly positioned himself as the front-facing voice of Red Bull, guiding both the sporting and commercial direction of the team. As internal dynamics shift and Red Bull's leadership changes, Horner may be feeling the pressure of divided loyalties and competing power centers. Add to that the 2024 off-track controversies Horner was involved in, which, regardless of outcome, shook his image and position, and you start to see a landscape where a move, however unlikely, isn't entirely out of the question. And what about Lewis Hamilton? That perhaps is the most fascinating angle in all of this. Imagine it, Christian Horner managing the very driver he once clashed with so fiercely. Their rivalry reached its boiling point during the infamous 2021 season. After the Silverstone crash, Horner accused Hamilton of desperate driving, and following the controversial Abu Dhabi finale, he dismissed claims that Lewis had been robbed, insisting Mercedes had simply been out-strategized. While Horner later complimented Hamilton's dignity in defeat, the tension between them was real and publicly visible. Would Hamilton even want to work under Horner? Or would this be a case of forgive but never forget? It's not impossible. In Formula One, alliances shift constantly. Lewis Hamilton is a pragmatic operator. If he believes Horner can bring Ferrari the competitive edge they need, he might well embrace the partnership, even if there are past wounds to heal. After all, both men are now older, wiser, and perhaps more focused on legacy than personal rivalry. There's also a curious symmetry here. Hamilton left Mercedes for one last shot at glory. Horner might see Ferrari as the final frontier in his storied career. After conquering Red Bull, what challenge remains? Conquering Ferrari would not only seal Horner's legacy, it would elevate it into the realm of myth. And then there's Max Verstappen. If Horner left Red Bull, the ripple effect could be enormous. Verstappen is known to be fiercely loyal to Marko and Horner. The Dutchman already has performance clauses in his contract. Could Horner's exit trigger one? Could it, long shot as it seems, lead to Verstappen reconsidering his future at Red Bull? Could it even pave the way for a future team-up between Verstappen and Horner elsewhere? It's pure speculation, but in F1, speculation often precedes reality. Then consider the political angle. Ferrari know that even leaking this rumour puts pressure on Red Bull. It destabilises the paddock, it puts Vasseur on notice, it makes Horner a headline again. It also reminds the world that Ferrari, despite their struggles, are still the most influential team in the sport. The only team who could float the idea of taking Horner from Red Bull and have people genuinely believe it could happen. So, where does this all lead? The smart money says Horner stays put, at least for now. He's embedded deep in Red Bull with massive influence and unfinished business. But stranger things have happened in Formula One. No one thought Hamilton would leave Mercedes. No one thought McLaren would rise so rapidly in 2025. And yet, here we are. Let me know in the comments.